Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be back filming my second video. I know I took a little bit of a hiatus, but that was just because I was on vacation for 2.5 weeks in Australia, which was amazing, but I'm so excited to finally be back so that I can start uploading more content, especially because I feel like my last video was a little bit more of an experiment, and this time I'm ready to commit a little bit more to it, especially because of your guys' positive feedback on my last video. It was just so great to see everyone's response to the makeup tutorial I posted, and also I did hear your feedback on making videos a little bit more shorter. I will say that that video was definitely a longer one for me just because I wanted to make sure that I went in depth with all of the instruction and techniques that I was sharing with you guys, but today's video is definitely going to be shorter, more lighthearted, and I actually would like to do the 50 facts about me tag today. I think that moving forward on this channel, it's important for you guys to know a little bit more about me before I just completely spill all this cool information that I have. So we're going to do that today. I want you guys to learn a little bit more about me, and I want to learn a little bit more about you guys. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it because 50 facts can be a lot. First fact I'm going to share with you guys is actually that I am a Gemini. Now I know a lot of people don't believe in horoscopes. I personally don't look at daily horoscopes. I look at the monthly ones sometimes because I think it's funny because they'll say on this certain day of the month this thing is going to happen, and so sometimes I'll write it down and be like, okay, we'll see, is that really going to happen? But I really more so look at the personalities behind horoscopes. I think they're really fascinating, and I didn't really believe in them or pay much attention to them until I looked at mine and I was like, oh my gosh, that's actually a lot like myself, and I thought it was really fascinating to read about my personality and how others might perceive that from a distance. So I actually looked up Gemini personality just so I could share a few things about it with you so maybe you could understand a little bit more about me. So the first thing with Geminis is that we are the twin signs, so we're known for being kind of dual-sided, dual personality. Hopefully not bipolar, but just two different kind of sides to how we operate. Let's see, and you never know which one you're gonna face, which is always fun. I'm sure my friends love me for that. It says we're social, communicative, ready for fun, but we have a tendency to get suddenly serious, thoughtful, and restless, so that I think is pretty true, at least for me. Let's see. It says Gemini is the third sign of the zodiac, and those born under this sign will be quick to tell you about it. Well, obviously here I am. It's the first fact I'm telling you about myself. But another thing that I really think is cool about being a Gemini is that we can see both sides of a situation, which makes us a really great mediator between friends, and I think that's something that rings true to me, is that I love listening to what other people have to say and kind of hearing both sides of things, and I'm always kind of the peacemaker, I feel like, within a group. The second fact about me is that I am half Norwegian. My mom is full-blooded Norwegian, 100%, which makes me 50%. And it's something I'm very proud of and something that isn't really easy to hide, because if you look at me, I have blonde hair and blue eyes, naturally blonde, by the way. So yeah, that is something about me. Number 3, one of my pet peeves. So I actually have a lot of pet peeves, especially ones that revolve around living with other people, as I'm sure you can imagine. I've lived with, oh my gosh, at least 10 roommates, I think, in the past 3.5 years, so I'm no stranger to knowing about pet peeves, but one that really sticks out to me personally is whenever I'm walking somewhere or driving, any type of mode of transportation, I'm pretty, when I'm walking, I'm on a purpose, or I walk with a purpose, so people that will walk in front of me that slow down, or someone that stops in front of me, I can't handle it. I have to be able to go around them, or I just get really frustrated. I think it's a little bit of kind of that fast-paced city girl in me. I just can't deal with it. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. Number 4, I am the oldest sibling of 2, actually, so I only have one younger brother. He is 5.5 years younger than me. but that doesn't mean that we aren't still super close. He's one of my best friends. We know how to get on each other's nerves, but we're also have like the same sense of humor and love hanging out together. Right now, our favorite thing to do is watch Friends, but yeah, I'm just really lucky to have him in my life. Number 4, Kristen Wiig from Bridesmaids is probably the epitome of my spirit animal. If you ask any of my friends, family around me, I tell them this all the time, but Kristen Wiig in that movie is just, oh my gosh, it's absolute perfection. I think it's the funniest thing ever. The sense of humor, just the things that she says, like it's just such a quotable movie. But it's the first movie I ever saw where I was like, thank God they are saying these things. I mean, I feel like in some of these movies that we watch, like I'm a huge chick flick connoisseur, and watching some of these films where it just seems so perfect and like these things happen, and like it just, to me, it's such a real representation of friendship and kind of the ups and downs that you go through. And so I'm just like so thankful that this movie exists, but also like personality wise and spirit animal, like not the part where she's like rock bottom, but just kind of the comedic sense of humor side. That is definitely me to a T. Number 6, this past December, I just earned my bachelor's degree in marketing. So I'm actually getting ready to move to New York City in 2 weeks to be exact, to start my new job. And I am so excited. I'm over the moon about it. I've always been very career driven, something I focused on especially in college. So I can't wait to finally start that official career and kind of get out there and get things going. Number 7, I have a really bad habit of laughing in awkward situations. I'm kind of like Claire Dunphy from Modern Family when she was telling her son that his best friend, the neighbor, like he was a really old man, had died, and she was kind of like laughing through it, not because she thought it was funny that he died, but just because like any type of awkward situation, she just got like really uncomfortable. So with me, for example, I remember my friend lost her phone one time inside of a mall, and she was heading back home, like flying to a different country the next day. And I was like laughing when I told her mom and my mom that she lost her phone, because I was just like so uncomfortable. Number 8, I will listen to absolutely any type of music besides country. I think I have like 1 or 2 exceptions on my phone, but I absolutely love music. I love discovering new music. I find it in commercials, TV shows, movies, I mean just on iTunes or just general music sites in general, or hearing from friends, all of that type of stuff. But I'll listen to anything, and I mean anything. I listen to everything all the way from Italian opera to the most like ratchet ghetto rap you've ever heard. Everything in between that sandwich I will listen to. I love it. Music affects my emotions all the time. Like if I'm feeling down, music is always what brings me up. So it's a big part of me. And if you have any cool song recommendations, by the way, leave them below, because I love that. Number 9, I travel quite frequently and I cannot stand plain food. In fact, I would rather be hungry to the point of like starvation than eat plain food. I just think it's disgusting. The smell of it used to actually make me super nauseous, but I just think it's like horrible quality food. Number 10, I used to have terrible acne. You wouldn't know it now, but in high school, my acne was so bad that I tried all these different medications, went on all these different pills, topical lotions, everything. But it wasn't until I went on Accutane my last year of high school that I actually got my clear skin and finally overcame acne. It was such a huge part of my life as far as like taking away from my self-confidence. It made me feel gross. Like I felt like my skin was dirty all the time. But once I went on Accutane, it was like a self-confidence pill. I just became a different person, I feel like, because of having that clear skin again and being able to feel like people weren't looking at my acne, but were actually looking at me. Number 11, I have an extreme fear of birds. I cannot deal with them within a couple feet distance of me. I think they just belong in the sky. They just freak me out when we're out eating somewhere and like there's birds walking around, or like seagulls that are spotting your food and want to come over. Like I can't deal. It freaks me out so much that I almost want to cry. Number 12, I am pretty good at picking up new things. I just kind of have a knack for when I try out new things, I kind of pick them up a little bit quicker than normal. Not everything, but a good example is last year for Labor Day, we went to a lake. and I tried wakeboarding for the first time, and only on the second try I was balancing on the wakeboard and surfing in the lake, and it was awesome. Number 13. So we've established that I have a huge passion for fashion. It's what I'm doing my career in. It's something I live with every day. I just love the idea of getting dressed up. It makes me feel put together. But if I could attend one red carpet event and wear one couture designer, I would choose Versace Atelier in a heartbeat. I think it's stunning, beautiful. Every look I see on the red carpet from them, I am just, oh, Donatella, hook me up. Number 14, I can be defined pretty well by this Winston Churchill quote. It says, "I am a man of simple tastes. I am quite easily satisfied with the best of everything." Just replace the man with woman. Number 15, when it comes to country girl versus city girl, I definitely am a city girl, which is kind of ironic because the area I live in is definitely a little bit more rural, small town. But that's why I'm moving to New York City, because at heart I am truly a city girl. Number 16, I may or may not have a slight obsession with koalas, and when we were in Australia these past 2.5 weeks, I was in heaven. I got to interact with one, and I also got to hold one, and it was like the most magical thing I think of my life. I got a koala keychain, I got a koala stuffed animal, I got pictures of koalas. Like, I love koalas, what can I say? Number 17, if I could only eat one thing for the rest of my life, it would either have to be some type of seafood risotto or enchiladas all the way. Number 18, my favorite color is Bordeaux or burgundy, oxblood, dark red, whatever you want to call it. I love that rich dark red color, especially in the fall time. Like, that is my time when I flourish because I wear it all the time. But as you might be able to see in the background as well, my favorite color is also turquoise. But I think as I'm getting older, maturing a little bit more, I think that red is definitely becoming my number one favorite color. Number 19, I have a collection of well over 150 chick flick movies. If you remember from my other fact about Kristen Wiig and Bridesmaids, that's just one of my favorite chick flicks that I own. It's something that I just have fun collecting and watching, and I just think they're so lighthearted and funny movies, and I'm definitely the one to have around with sleepovers because I always bring the good movies. Number 20, I am an ambivert, which every time I tell people that, they are like, what is that? But let me explain. So, you know, you have extroverts and introverts. Well, an ambivert, well, ambi means both. So I'm both introverted and extroverted. It just depends on the situation. So if I'm in a small group of people or even one-on-one, that's when I become very extroverted and kind of more like lively personality. But the bigger a group becomes, the more introverted I can get. So it's kind of fun to bounce back and forth between the two. Number 21, in high school, I swam all 4 years on the swim team. I loved the shape that it kept me in, and I always had a tan for the homecoming dance. But I also danced on our dance team for 2 years as well. I've just always been athletic, which is really ironic now because being out of college, it's a lot harder. I feel like I dealt with that routine a lot better. Now going to the gym, it's not the same. I don't know, I miss having a sport. Number 22, I fell in love with fashion photography in high school after doing a research project on Richard Avedon. Like I said, fashion is just a huge part of my life, but photography was also something that became a huge part of my life. And so blending the two together was just like the most amazing thing. It became my favorite hobby ever. It's why I still love taking pictures today, but Richard Avedon, those pictures are one of my biggest inspirations, and I just absolutely love his work. Number 23. Every trip that I go on, I always plan my outfits. It's something that I've just kind of not always done, but ever since I started doing it, I do it for everything. I think it makes it more efficient to pack, but also I love researching places within the country or city that I'm going to, and then kind of matching my outfits to that. I think for taking pictures and just kind of the whole experience, it makes things a lot easier. And it's really fun. It's kind of like getting to be your own personal stylist. Number 24, growing up, I never had a dog, a cat. I only really had fish, I think. My dad offered to get us a bird, but we all know how that was going to end up. So I've never had a dog before in my life, but I feel like it's something that's missing from my childhood. So in the future, I definitely plan to get a dog, and my dream dog is to have a French bulldog or a Frenchie. I think they're the cutest things ever. Number 25, I have been to Norway every year of my life. Yes, you heard that correctly. Even before I turned 1, I went to Norway. So in total, I've been to Norway 21 times. I'm not sure if I'll go this year though, just because I'm moving to New York City and not going to be with my family who I travel with. Number 26, I can speak Norwegian even though I haven't taken any lessons or didn't learn it in school, didn't go to class for it. It's something that by going to Norway as many times as I did, I really just picked up from hearing my relatives speak it. I also grew up with my mom speaking Norwegian to me as well as English, and so I feel very fortunate to kind of be able to speak it now without having any professional training. I definitely don't have the best grammar. I can't write or I can read a little bit, but writing definitely can't do. But being able to speak it has definitely been an advantage in my life. Number 27, if I had to pick one makeup product, or we're actually going to make it 2 makeup products because I just can't pick one. So growing up, for me, it was foundation when I first got into makeup because that's how I would cover my acne and even out my skin tone. But now I'm all about the lips and the lashes. If I had to pick one, I really don't want to, I would probably pick lips just because I love lipstick, lip liner, all of that, but I also love having big full lashes as well. Number 29, growing up, my family did not move at all. In fact, we've only moved once in my entire lifetime. But being in college for 3.5 years, going through that, I have moved, oh my gosh, I want to say maybe 6 times within that period because I moved every year that I was living at school, and then I also lived places over the summer. So I've lived in New York City, I've lived in London, I've lived in Oslo and Norway. Number 30, laughing is very important to me, having a good sense of humor. I don't think I could function on a daily basis if I wasn't able to laugh. It's just something that I think is so important and really affects our mood. And so sense of humor wise, I would say I love watching stand-up comedy, specifically on Netflix. So for my personal sense of humor, growing up, it was Jim Carrey and like Pet Detective, When Nature Calls. But I also love watching like Eddie Murphy Delirious. That is one of my all-time favorite stand-ups on Netflix. Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Sebastian Maniscalco. Number 31, the most listened to song on my iPod currently, or the music on my phone, is the Italian song from the Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue commercial. Everything about that, like, first of all, David Gandy is just like my everything, and him in this commercial in a white Speedo in the island of Capri in Italy, listening to this song, it was everything. I think I've listened to it over 600 times, and it's in Italian, and I can say the words, but I don't know what they mean. So this is the song if you want to listen to it. Number 32, I am absolutely terrible at spotting things whenever I'm out and about walking because I don't like to look at people in the eyes when I'm walking or make like awkward eye contact, which makes me really bad at spotting celebrities whenever we're out somewhere, or spotting people in general. I usually have people like waving frantically when I'm meeting them because I'm never like looking around at people. I'm just like in my zone, like kind of minding my own business. Number 33, building off of the previous fact, because I don't like to look at people when I'm walking or standing somewhere, a lot of people mistake me for being really cold and intense or kind of uninterested. So back in high school, whenever I would walk to my classes, I would walk like so serious and with a purpose that like people would not talk to me in the hallways. And it wasn't because I was mean or anything. It was just because I, wanted to get to class and didn't want to have to like awkwardly see somebody. Number 34, my new favorite form of exercise is actually Bikram yoga or hot yoga. It's doing a certain set of postures in 90 minutes in usually 105 Fahrenheit room temperature. And what's funny about that is I went to 2 classes with my mom and swore I would never do it again. I hated it. I hated the feeling of like sweat dripping down my body as I was like silently sitting there doing these postures. And something happened on the 3rd class where I fell in love with it, and now I'm addicted, so go figure. Number 35, on the scale between being a pessimist and an optimist, I would describe myself as a realist because I like to keep things real. I'm still a positive person, but I like to be grounded and realistic. 36, I know a lot of random facts about major fashion houses, and I think the reason why I actually kind of came about doing this is because when I first started going into really high-end stores, so like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, I was really intimidated at first, and so I felt like if I was able to display knowledge of the brand to the sales associates, they would take me a little bit more seriously because I wasn't just coming in because, you know, I knew the brand name or I wanted someone to know that I knew. So I kind of impressed upon them with my information, but now it's just something I love learning about. Obviously, being in the industry, it's important to know these things and know the history of what you're buying into. Number 37. By this point, you guys have heard a lot about my interest in fashion, but just to pinpoint a little bit more where my career passions lie, I would say that ultimately I'd love to work in branding. I think that talking about the brand story, the brand personality behind a brand is really what makes it tick and what's fun for me to talk about. And specifically within the industry, leaning more toward the luxury side of the market, just because that's where you have those really rich brand stories. So for me, for example, if I see a woman on the street wearing Chanel, to me it's not about, oh look, she's wearing this really high-end designer. It's more about she's wearing the designer that originated and normalized menswear for women back in the day and now has turned into this iconic brand of storytelling. That's kind of the difference I see and why branding is something that I love. Number 38, I am a huge brunch junkie, connoisseur, whatever you want to call it. When I was in New York 2 summers ago interning, and of course returning now within 2 weeks, I hit up every brunch spot I could. Every weekend I would get my friends together and we'd go to brunch, just because it was so much fun to discover these new places and just the idea of brunch in general. First you get to sleep in, you get to dress up, and then go find these cool places and have an amazing meal. And it was just a really fun time for me to connect with those friends I had in the city. Number 39, I am a huge believer in the mantra, treat yourself, because I think it is important that we take time for ourselves, whether it be a small part of every day or 1 day a week. I make sure that I have that me time where I'm able to recharge. Number 40, I am Red Velvet obsessed. That is my favorite flavor of anything. And I have actually tried a lot of different Red Velvet things. Not everything, I don't think, because I'm always surprised at all the different things that come in Red Velvet flavor. 41. So I don't really classify myself as a picky eater. I definitely used to be in the past. But one of the things I cannot eat, or rather have it on the food I'm eating, is basil. And this is always really weird when I tell people because they think it's so random, but I can't eat something on my food. It's usually with pizza that this happens. But to me, basil looks like a leaf that literally just flew from a tree into my food. And so when I see it on my food, it just looks so unappetizing to me. So if there's ever any basil in my food, I have to pick it off. Number 42, if I could only shop at one place for the rest of my life, or get my clothing, shoes, accessories, everything from one place for the rest of my life, it would definitely be Zara. I am a true Zara shopper. I have this habit where every time I see one, no matter where I am, usually when I'm on vacation, because we don't actually have one close to where I live right now, I have to go in. Like, it doesn't matter if I need anything, if I'm broke, I don't have money, like, it doesn't matter. I have to go in. I have to see the new collection. Number 43, I am a huge shoe addict. I also love handbags as well, and I feel like watching a ton of YouTube videos, I'll watch like handbag collections or shoe collections. And I always think to myself, like, I love absolutely both of them, but then when I look at my wish list and I'm trying to figure out, like, oh, am I a handbag person? Am I a shoe person? I usually want like 3 shoes to 1 handbag. Number 44, my go-to outfit when I don't know what to wear or I just want something that I know is gonna work is a great pair of jeans, usually a pair of skinny jeans, that's what I lean toward. A t-shirt or a nice blouse, and a statement blazer jacket. I'm all about the completer pieces. The item in my wardrobe I have the most of is blazers. Number 45, I have an obsession with mermaids that started way back when I was younger. I think it started with the movie The Little Mermaid. But ever since then, I've just been fascinated by mermaids. I would totally give up the life I have right now to just become a mermaid. Maybe not, but I would definitely love to try it for a day or two, or like try having a mermaid tail. Number 46, I am an avid movie quoter. During any conversation, I will just like pull up a reference from a random movie, pray that the person has seen it, and then recite that line and how it relates to the situation. Number 47, I cannot for the life of me cook. I have never been good at cooking. I don't really have a good excuse for it. I've just never really sat down and learned to cook. I mean, don't get me wrong, I could survive. I can cook a few things, but it's not something I enjoy. Usually by the time I start cooking, I'm already hungry, and by that point, I don't want to take the time to actually make something. Number 48, my go-to fun fact usually in like icebreaker situations is that I have been not only to New York City, but went up and touched the New Year's Eve crystal ball, like the one they drop every New Year's. I actually got to go up on top of Walgreens, which is the building that it's on top of, and touch the ball. It was a really cool experience. Number 49, when I was first learning how to do makeup, I didn't really know how to do my eyeshadow at that point. But I distinctly remember my friend and I were going to the first Hunger Games midnight movie premiere, and she was doing my makeup, and she kind of taught me at the time that your eyeshadow was supposed to go all the way up to your eyebrow. The dark shade went on the outer half of your eye up to your brow bone, and was kind of lighter on the inside, and after that I thought that's how you did your eyeshadows, so that's how I continued to do my makeup. And it wasn't until maybe a year later that I realized what I was doing was horribly wrong. Number 50, we have made it to the last fact in this tag, you guys. Are you excited? I know I am, because this took a lot longer than I thought. But basically, fact 50 is that by starting YouTube and making these videos, I'm sure you guys have noticed, if you don't already point out or mentally point out, but I, watching back my videos, have noticed that if I say a certain word, sometimes I tend to repeat it in the same sentence. I don't know if it's because subconsciously I hear the word and then I say it again because something happens up here. But I guess I have a little quirk in that sense that I like to use some of the same words over and over again. So yeah, I hope it doesn't annoy you guys too much. Alright you guys, we have made it to the end of this video. If you have stuck around for this one, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hopefully when I get into editing this, it's not going to be too long. I know it's definitely not going to be the 40 minutes like the last video. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you wanted to stick around to learn a little bit more about me. I try to make these facts pretty diverse and unique so you could learn, different areas of me and how I am as a person. But if you'd like to leave, a fact or a few about yourself below, I would absolutely love that. I love learning new things about people and kind of what makes them tick and who they are. So I would love if you would share that with me. But other than that, I just want to thank you for your time today, for watching this video, your support, for watching my other video and now this one, and just supporting my channel overall. And finally, I think my next video, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a fashion video since I've talked so much about how much I love that, and now it's time to actually put out some content in that. But I was considering doing a video on how I packed for my trip to Australia, since I take so much joy in packing and planning out my outfits for trips, and so I thought that would be fun. If you agree, feel free to give a thumbs up to this video or leave a comment below, but I'm going to try and get that video out to you guys next. But other than that, I hope you have a great day. Bye! Thank you so much for watching.